Time for Fire Field Vision, powered by NovaCare. Fred Hubner along with Paul Tenorio and Frank Klopas. Chicago Fire coming off a 4-1 win against New England. Obviously, a big win, snapped that 2-game road losing streak. But now they got to keep the focus, Frank. They're going back on the road against Columbus.
100%. I agree with you. It's going to be a different game, always difficult on the road. And then I think now, towards the end of the season, I think with all this games away and this home games for teams like Columbus, I think they have games at hand on teams. They become almost must-win games for them if they want to have any opportunity to be there in the postseason.
Anytime you're playing an Eastern Conference team, especially at this point in the season, it's a 6-point game. Columbus is a playoff team, and you want to chase Toronto down for that supporter shield. You want home field advantage. You want to buy. You want all those things. This is a massive game. And, then you add in the rivalry part of it. So it's all about carrying over the confidence. And not just that, I think also they've been very, very good at home, and they need to start picking up a few more points on the road. To get a win on the road, we talk about it a lot of time, how valuable those 3 points are. If they can go to Columbus and get 3, I think that's huge for them when we talk about what this table is going to look like going forward.
Well, and Frank, obviously this past weekend, the 4-1 win, we saw a lot of good things on the pitch, and you and Paul are going to talk about them.
We did, and I think the one thing I think that can come in handy in this game in Columbus also, and then we'll break down some of the clips, is their ability not to switch that point of attack, create this overloads in this wide areas with the movement. But if we go into video, I think we picked up 3 or 4 plays that we can go over. And I think initially, Paul, the first one.
Well, it starts off the playbook on playing Columbus. They love to play out of the back. They want to do it no matter what. If you press high, you can create turnovers against Columbus. We saw it 2 years ago in MLS Cup against Portland. That's how they created the first goal. We've seen the Fire do it before. You have to press organized.
Yeah, and I think this is the game in San Jose where they gave up a goal. They pushed numbers forward, especially the outside back. So the opportunity is there in transition to really make them pay, just like San Jose does here.
And we'll bring, again, Matt Polster's goal, and it starts with the big switch from Joao Myra. He's looking across the field. Columbus tends to, when they press defensively, get overloaded on one side. That switch is going to be there. You're going to have guys isolated in space. Then you take advantage 1v1 on the dribble and look to finish.
Great finish. And then I go back to this, the third goal. And the thing that I liked about this, it's like we often talk about when a team plays in a low block, the difficulties that the Fire have had in the back. And in a situation like this, I think they were very smart. Their ability now to be patient, move the ball from one side to the other. They get it out wide. If it's not there, I think you can just see now here that this New England team, they have 10 guys behind the ball, and just the Fire very patient, just moving the ball, making them run, shifting the ball from side to side, and then obviously when the opportunity is going to be there and then they draw themselves to one side, their ability again to switch that point of attack, like it's going to come pretty soon here. They get it there. Maybe the space is there. They don't want to get it. There's not numbers in the box. They bring it back, Paul.
And we've seen Columbus the last few weeks playing the 3-4-3. Here's the switch. It becomes a 5-man backline defensively. So they're going to have a lot of bodies behind the ball. And this is what we're talking about. Keep the ball, draw them out, switch the ball, and all of a sudden now it creates space, and Delue's able to make that run. Farrell's lost. The goalkeeper doesn't come out, and it's an easy finish for Michael Delue.
Yeah, and it was just a patient buildup. I think they just kept the ball 25, 30 passes. I think there were some moments there where they could have got that ball early on. Maybe numbers were not there, so they were patient in their buildup. And I think when they had numbers in there were hard runs, and they were able to get the third goal, which was huge, So.
And these are different concepts, right, Frank? I mean, we've talked about high pressing, we've talked about counterattacking, but then, like you said, it's that last bit. It's when teams drop off against you and say, go ahead, break us down. The Fire are now showing an ability to do that, to keep the ball, to stay patient, to wait for those moments, and then to make that pass. And that's a huge part going forward, because there are going to be teams that come to Chicago and look to sit in and get a point. And there are going to be moments when you're playing against teams now in this league that have gone to 3-man backlines that really they become 5-man backlines defensively, and now you have to break down 8 people behind the ball whenever you have the ball almost, unless it's transition. So to have that patience and to be able to possess with purpose.
Yeah, and then I think the one play that you showed, for them to switch the point of attack, because Columbus is not a team that's going to press high. What they do is that they wait for you, and then they press in certain moments. When the ball goes out wide to the outside back, you can see that they close down very hard. Now, your ability to get out of those situations and switch the point of attack, you can create overloads, just like in that goal that that match score there, and that's going to be the key. I think the Fire have to be good with the ball on the road.
And Frank, you know Greg Berhalter very well, and one thing I've gotten from him in my conversations with him tactically about how he looks at the game is he does defensively like to look at what a team does well and say, okay, I want to take that away from one of your strongest players. You know, we had a conversation last time he was in Chicago about what they did against Orlando City, where they dropped off and said, we'll let Kyle Larin and Carlos Rivas turn and have to run at us because they don't create well running at you. They do when you drop deep and they can create in the box. I imagine that he's going to look the opposite way at this Orlando team and maybe try to push a little bit higher to take away Nico's strengths, and knowing that he's got a full against a calm, a matchup he might like because they've done well there. So it is going to come into those moments. Can you attack that high line with a quick counter when they press, like you say, in those moments?
Well, that's the thing, though, because if the ball goes out wide, let's say to the left back, and then if they play in a 3-4-3 system, and then a full is playing the wide midfielder, and he's got to close very hard on Patrick Doody, I think that space down in the channel is going to be open, you know, and then is a fool going to drop off and pick up a calm? If he does, and then the outside backs are going to have a lot of space to build up. If they play higher up the field, I think if you switch the point of attack in the right moment and you have the right back going forward, you can create those 2v1 overloads. And then the other thing, I think, in a tough game, this is where I see, I think with Justin Merrim, a lot going forward. If it's Mane or Finlay, I think, you know, if it's Mane playing, I think without the ball, is he going to be the guy that's going to track all the way back and do the work? That's a question mark for me.
That was Fire Field Vision, powered by NovaCare. We come back, we'll talk a little bit more about Columbus, the Columbus Crew, the opponent this weekend. Catch the game 6:30 on CSN Plus, 6 o'clock pregame.